welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make my watermelon whipped body butter. So as you can tell, I have this pot here. It's literally just water. It doesn't have to be, when you make it, it doesn't have to be this big of a pot. You just need a pot just to boil the water in. You're going to want another bowl. I literally bought this bowl from Walmart. So you're just going to set this bowl over top of the water here. And this is going to help you melt all of the oils and things like that for your body butter. You're going to take a cup of shea butter and then half a cup of coconut oil. All right, so we're going to use about this much of the shea butter. It's about a cup. And about that much of your coconut oil. Again, you can use any oils of your choice or any butter. I just personally use shea butter and coconut oil. So I'm gonna put that in there. I'm just taking my spoon and just scraping it out. You can add extra oils if you choose to. So I'm gonna be adding some castor oil. Literally just eyeball it, you don't need a lot. And then olive oil. And for this, same thing, just eyeball it and pour it in there. You see it's already melting. So most of that is already the coconut oil, the olive oil, and the castor oil that's liquefied. The shea butter takes the longest because it's a thicker butter. See, it's a thicker consistency. So you see, you're gonna have these clumps. And you don't want that. So you wanna make sure that everything is nicely mixed and melted together. This is what you will call the double boiling method. Okay, so once you come back, you should have something like this. And it's, you see it's nice and liquefied. All of the oils are mixed together. You are good to go. This is how you want it to look. Now we're gonna cut the stove off. And then we're just gonna remove this from the stove. And then we're gonna let it cool down to room temperature. And then we'll place it in the freezer for about 35 to about 45 minutes. Don't be like me and put it in the refrigerator. Put it in the freezer. It hardens better in the freezer. And to me, the consistency of the whipping cream or the whipping body butter comes out 10 times better. So put it in the freezer for about 35 to 45 minutes. All right, y'all. So the oils and things have been in the freezer for about 45 minutes. And this is what it looks like, which is perfect. You see the edges are hardened a little bit. The inside is still pretty much liquidy. That's totally fine. This is good to start whipping. I am going to use my handy mixer, my hand mixer. If you have a stand mixer, you can totally use that, but I am going to be using my hand mixer. And I'm going to start it off on, let's see if you guys can see that. Mine go all the way up to number 5, and I'm going to start it out to about a 1. As you can tell, this is runny, right? So I'm going to show you how to thicken it up, which is very simple. If it's runny, what you'll do is you'll place it back in the freezer for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then you should be good to go. Okay, so she's out of the freezer, and now we're ready to begin mixing again. So yes, there we go. As you mix, it's going to get thicker, and it's going to become nice and creamy. And this is the consistency that you want it to be. You see how smooth it's becoming? That's perfect. Once everything has been nicely mixed together, now we can prepare to start filling our bowls. So here I have 2 bowls, and I'm going to take the body butter that I created, and we're just going to spread it out between the bowls as evenly as we possibly can. It doesn't really matter. Just get them in the bowl. That's the goal. And once you have them in the bowl, this is the flavoring oil I'll be using. It's the watermelon flavoring oil from Get Suckered. You can order it online. And it doesn't really matter how much oil you put in there. You don't have to put a lot. And now I'm going to be taking this pink liquid. I got that from TKB Trading. You can buy that online as well. Pour that into one of them. And then I'm going to take blue liquid dye. I'll pour it in there. And then I'm also going to mix it with yellow. And I don't have green pigment, which is totally fine. We all know blue and yellow makes green. So we're going to use that, mix it together. Take your time with mixing it. You want to make sure all of the colors are nicely blended. So keep mixing. Literally take your time with this and make sure it's just as even as possible. There we go. A nice, beautiful green. I'm going to add a little bit more blue dye just because I want my green to be a little darker. So yeah. And I am done mixing and this is what it looks like. Next up, we're going to work on the pink. So again, take your time mixing it. And then you'll get this beautiful light pink. I know on camera it looks super light, but trust me, it's fine. And there they both go. Next, press and seal. I literally bought this from Target. And, you know, this helps make it less messy when you're putting the body butter in the piping bag. So if you don't have you some press and seal, I highly urge you to get you some. Best trick ever, literally. And here you'll just see me flatten it out, spreading it out, whatever the case may be. And then we're going to prepare it to put the body butter on. So I'm going to take my pink first. It doesn't matter which color you start with, but we're just going to spread that out on there and continue to put as much as you can on there. And then you're going to get your green, do the same, steps, repeat the same steps, put it on there, spread it out, try to get it as even as it can be. It doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is just to get it on the press and seal paper. Once they're both on there, we're just going to turn it around like this. And I'm doing this just so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Excuse the angle. I know it's not perfect, but I'm trying to, record it the best that I can so that you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to fold them over together and we're just going to gently press them together, not too much, but gently press them together to clear as much air bubbles as possible and to, tighten it. Basically, we're sealing it up in there. So go ahead and roll it around. And once you've done so like this, you'll find one of the sides, doesn't matter which one. And what you're going to do is twist the end of it. So I like to do this to keep some of the body butter from coming out. If you're not careful, it can come out of the other side, and we don't want that. So we want to tighten up one side just to keep it nice and snug in there. And once it's nice and snug in there, like such, now we can begin to put this in the piping bag. So grab your piping bag. So grab the piping tip that you're going to use as well as your scissors. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the scissors and we're going to cut off a little piece of the edge of this piping bag. So you can follow what I'm doing here. I'm literally just cutting off a tiny piece of it like so. And now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the piping bag and we're going to put the piping tip through the inside of it. So literally just drop it down in there like that. Push it all the way down and make sure that it's nice and snug in there, sorry. Because we don't want any of the body butter to like bust out of the sides or anything like that. So there you go. And now we can begin putting the body butter inside of the bag. So not only will this help keep it from being a complete mess when piping it, but literally, if you do it right, you can literally reuse the bag. Literally just wash it and reuse it and you're good to go. So we love to save our coins over here. So don't feel ashamed at all. Okay, so now let's go ahead and pipe it. So go ahead and squeeze down and here we go. We are ready to pipe. So take your time with this. You want to make sure
that you are making everything nice and even. You want to make sure you're eliminating as much air bubbles as possible. You want to make sure that you're giving your customer as much product as possible. Okay, so make sure that you take your time. You can use circular motions like this. Some people like to actually twist the jar itself. It's literally up to you. You can pipe however the heck you see fit. And yeah, it's just all a learning experience. So there we go. Fill up the middle, continue piping, and look at that. Such a beautiful consistency. This body butter smells freaking amazing. I love it. So there we go.